You are about to hear the end of a conversation that Anthony and I are having.
Are you psychic?
It happens every episode, Anthony. They always hear the end of a conversation right at the beginning of the episode.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So if you want to hear that entire conversation, because it's a real conversation that we have, we give those to people who support our show. All you got to do is go to patreon.com/wehaveconcerns and find out how. You can also get early episodes. You can get hangouts with Anthony and me, and you can also get cool secret mail.
I had no idea we were recording those. That is a total embarrassment to me.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it.
I also am excited
because it looks very different in a way that speaks to me.
I have no idea how it looks, but I'm excited about it.
Great. This is
I know that it has Pratt.
This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Canada.
Pratt is exciting.
Hi, Jeff Canada.
Hi, Anthony.
Hello, concerned citizens.
Pratt. Hi, Chris Pratt.
Hi, Chris Pratt, if you're listening. I do like Chris Pratt.
He's awesome.
Who doesn't like Chris Pratt? Jeff, how long does it take you to get here to my house to record the podcast?
Yeah, it depends on when we record the podcast, Anthony,
Sure.
because Los Angeles being what it is, it's a nightmare hellscape of freeways and congestion.
Yeah, let's say we hit our scheduled time, which we do have one.
Yeah.
Things come up, but let's say we hit our scheduled time. It's Thursday, it's 9 a.m., you're heading towards my house.
Well, 9 a.m. is rough, but usually it does not take me more than a half an hour to get here.
Half an hour. And how far away would you say my place is?
Boy, that's tough. I'm bad at that. 7 miles?
7 miles. Here's something that's very interesting, Jeff, based on a new study and the GPS tracker I secretly put in your car.
What?
There was a study that was just ran by the BPS Research Digest.
Ooh, Research Digest. That's for reading about research, but
that's for like a
very
condensed
short
version of books. Yeah.
Also, hilarious little cartoons.
Yeah, they take a full research and they give you just the important
Just what
bits.
you need.
And
also hilarious cartoons.
They were running a study, and it's kind of this thing. They were trying to figure out why people are always kind of later than they think.
Mm-hmm. I pride myself on being an on-time kind of guy.
I try to be. It doesn't always work.
I was raised with on time is late. 10 minutes early is on time.
Sure, if you got time to lean, you got time to clean.
Right. All those.
Jeff grew up working in a TCBY. He was found there. He was a foundling.
Yeah. Just yogurt.
And the manager took him in and gave him a bathroom sign-in. She's like, you got to clean this once an hour.
Yeah.
Be sure to wipe out the machines.
That's all I know.
That's all he knows.
It's like being raised by monkeys, except I was raised by low-level management.
Yeah. I feel like I was too. Here's the deal. So, we have this strange thing that happens in our brain when we travel familiar routes. These are...
Is it called Play My 3DS?
It's called listen to podcasts and zone out, and then, oh, that's a red light.
Yeah.
But it's part of that. Here's what's up. We have a tendency to underestimate how long it's going to take us to get somewhere familiar. The more we travel a specific route, the shorter the amount of time we think it's going to take us to travel that route.
That's interesting. It's been doing that so many times, I feel like I can get there quicker than I can.
Yeah.
Which is why we're late to places that we go all the time.
Exactly. It's
like work.
It's something, yeah, exactly. Your ride to work. Like, you may notice that when you first start a new job or a new office or something, you're there on time every day. And then all of a sudden, it's like maybe things start slipping. And it's part of it.
You know what? I can watch one more episode of whatever.
It only takes me 10 minutes to get there.
I'll be fine.
Your job is 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
You're it takes me 10, 15 minutes to get to work.
Have another Pop-Tart. I'll be fine.
And we think part of that is as we start doing as a route becomes more familiar to us, we've talked about this before, our brain begins to offload some of that processing power that it used to take to pay attention to this route to do other shit.
Yeah.
And so we're kind of in this half state where it's oh, I'm not really paying attention.
Right. I've done this. It becomes by rote, which is why sometimes you'll get on the road and you'll drive a thing that you do all the time, but you're not going there this time, but you end up taking the off-ramp to the place.
Yeah.
It's because your brain is oh, we're doing that thing that we do all the time.
Yeah, you're going on an errand that's near work, and all of a sudden you find yourself going towards the work parking lot, and you're I'm an idiot.
Yeah, you're on autopilot.
Why would I do this on a day I didn't have to?
Right.
Your boss is outside sipping coffee. He's oh, hey, Jim. That's really that's some good initiative of you to show up today.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy that you showed up on the first international free ice cream for everyone ever day.
I know.
It's happening right down the block. I can't believe you came here.
Not going to get the ice cream. I was coming to do extra work on my day off.
I'll tell you what.
Is what I was doing.
I didn't see you as that kind
Do
of
you
guy.
want me to get you an ice cream, though? Because I could go there.
Oh, I already had 3. I went early.
Okay.
But yeah, come on in and we'll work on the most boring reports you've ever worked on in your entire life.
Oh, we didn't finish up the boring reports?
No, they're really boring. They're like, can I tell you how boring they are? They print out on those old, loud dot matrix printers with like the green and white.
Yeah.
Oh, slow and boring all the way through.
So I'm
so glad you showed up.
So am I.
You know?
Yeah.
I thought last week when I told you about my stamp and ship in a bottle collection that we kind of hit it off.
We did
and
talk
you seemed
a long time about that.
Super interested in it. I was like, here's a kindred spirit.
Yeah, we
Here's
talked
a guy
at length.
that's like, I could really hang out with more. You're going places.
Well,
not to the ice cream.
No.
Not to the ice cream, but
I would never.
I'm talking metaphorically.
Sure you are.
Here at the company.
Yeah.
You're going places.
I'm going here all day today, I
Can you
guess.
believe the government just wanted everyone to have free ice cream?
It's very strange.
It's really crazy.
It sounds like a utopia. It's
Anyway,
weird that it was right next to work, too.
It's so crazy. Anyway, come on up. But yeah, so our brain goes into autopilot. And because our brain's in autopilot, we kind of begin to believe that it doesn't take very long to get to this place. Because we're not paying attention.
Like I just showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny.
How far away is work? I don't know, like half a comedy Bang Bang? How long is that?
Right.
You know, like but here's the crazy thing, Jeff. When people were asked to estimate the amount of time it took them to get from home to work, and then to estimate the distance, you would think people underestimating how much time it takes to get somewhere, they would also think
it wasn't very far.
It wasn't very far geographically, right? No, the opposite, Jeff. The more we travel a route,
the longer we think
it is. The longer we think it is.
So wait, we think we can get there in less time, but it's longer?
The more
we think we're breaking the laws of physics somehow?
The more we go back and forth to the same place, the more we believe we are possible of time dilation.
Humans are idiots.
Humans are so dumb.
So the more we do something, we just think we're so awesome. We just think I can go farther in less time because I've done this so many times.
But because we do it so many times, we're like, oh, that place is so far away. I have to go there all the time. It's like fucking, you think I'm 7 miles away from you or something.
I don't know.
I'm probably 3 miles from you.
Right now, it feels like you're forever from me.
We're just, shh. Take my hand.
Yeah.
Take my hand.
Too far away.
But yeah, it's this weird thing where it's like, fuck that place, it's forever away.
Yeah.
But also because we have all the details in our head of the route, right? If I ask you to get from here to the Staples Center, you've done it, but you don't do it all the time.
Right.
And so I'm like, Jeff, draw me a map to the Staples Center with like as many things as you remember.
Right.
It's going to be short. But if I ask you, Jeff, go from here to your house.
I'll draw a lot of fun stuff, though.
Yeah.
I'm going to add some embellishments.
Oh.
Maybe add one of those cool, like,
here is the
compass.
Gumdrop Swamp.
Yeah.
Lose a turn.
That's what I'll do.
Jeff, that's not real.
Oh, I know, but you said everything I can remember.
Yeah, everything I can remember. And here is the ending of American Tail 5 Goes West, because that's up there. I don't know why.
Yeah.
Here is a place where I went to summer camp when I was in 3rd grade. It's not in this state, but I remember it. I'm putting it on the map. But if I ask you to go from here to your house, you can draw a lot of stuff. And so you're going to draw a much more detailed map, but you're also going to overestimate these distances.
Crazy.
What does this mean? Why do we do this?
Yeah. So
they don't know. That's what's crazy.
I think it has to do with what you're talking about. It has to do with attention, right? Because if I'm driving here for the first time, I'm putting all my attention on that activity because I've never done it before. I have to be alert. I have to pay attention because I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
But the more I do something, the less attention I have to put on it. So because it's more familiar to me, I can get by. And so because things are more familiar, I just make assumptions in my brain and I become more stupid.
Well, I'll tell you what, the first time I came here, it was really stressful. It took 45 minutes and 3 miles. Now I get here in 10 minutes and 18 miles. It's just getting easier and easier every day.
Easier.
So they are thinking that what might be happening here is that the brain maintains separate neural systems for estimating spatial extent and time to travel.
So you're saying it's one hand not doing what the other hand, not knowing what the other hand is doing?
Our spatial brain and our temporal brain are not talking to each other about this.
That's fucked up.
It's disconnected systems.
That's
you would
fucked
think
up.
that our space and time systems would be connected in such a way that it's like, I remember going 15 minutes and 3 miles in 15 minutes, but one doesn't check in with the other.
It's literally a Pixar animation happening in my brain.
It really is.
It's literally one guy on a treadmill like, ooh, we're going real far. We're real far. And then the other guy like laying in a cot going like, we got forever.
We got forever to do
so
it.
much time.
Starring Jeff Foxworthy and Ray Romano.
If you think we can get there in 48 minutes, you might be a late person.
For some reason, that movie only made $10.
I don't understand that one.
It was just called More Inside Out. But yeah, so they think it could be that. They also think that it might just be the way the researchers made the subjects draw their maps.
What?
So here's
this all could be bullshit?
Well, here's what's up.
You got to start with it could all be bullshit, Anthony, before you get me excited about this topic.
Everything could always be entirely bullshit, Jeff.
Well, I guess you're right.
That's kind of the unspoken subtext of our podcast.
It could all be bullshit.
It's all probably bullshit.
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Good
Bye.
night. So they asked these students who were participating in the study,
who are late,
constantly
late.
Yeah, they didn't show up for the study until like 15 minutes in,
and
they're just like Snapchatting.
Stupid.
They're 20 minutes late and they're Snapchatting like, "Hey, walking into the lab, Snapchatting." I don't know why the millennials are also Muppets, but if you look, there's a huge correlation between the two.
It is true.
Check your U.S. Census data, and you'll see that I'm correct. But no, they showed up and, they asked these students, hey, draw this from home to work, home to school, but, draw it the way you would draw a map. Orient it north is top, south is bottom. Your brain doesn't really do that. If I asked you to go from my place to that restaurant that we sometimes go for lunch a couple blocks away.
Yeah.
You probably wouldn't draw a north to south map.
I have no idea.
You'd start with like whichever way we normally face going out of my door as north.
Well, that's absolutely true because forward always feels like north. In fact, living in Los Angeles, for the longest time, I felt like Hollywood was north of the valley because I was always going from the valley to Hollywood, even though it's clearly south of the valley, is because I was like, I need to go that direction. I need to go up and at them. Up and at them clearly north.
Yeah. So because we think in that way, we think relative to ourselves.
Yeah.
Fucking selfish millennial pricks with our Snapchat.
Assholes.
I'm Snapchatting. This is which way is north.
It really is. Snapchat's the problem here.
Snapchat is really the problem. I bought some Snapchat spectacles in New York. I don't want to talk about it. We'll talk about it later.
This is all about you working through that. This whole episode is you working through your Snapchat spectacles.
It is. It's my shame and my victory and the mix of the two.
It took me less time to get here because I wore my Snapchats. I can't even say it.
Anyway, they think that because they were asking these students to do north to south, it was like forcing them to think in a way that they weren't really thinking about distance, and so the map may have gotten a little messed up that way. Maybe it got more detailed, less detailed. Distances got kind of like a little messed up because they were being forced to try to orient themselves like a GPS.
Well, maybe nobody knows how to fucking draw a map.
Maybe.
That's not an easy skill.
It's not an easy skill because I didn't go to cartography school.
Right. I mean, I dropped out of cartography school, let's be honest. I mean, my dad wanted me to be a cartographer.
I went up to cartography 303, and then I stopped.
I'm not going to be a cartographer just because my father wants me to be a cartographer.
No. I'll tell you what.
I got to have my heart in cartography, Anthony.
For me, it was the
opposite.
Love it. I went through, because, obviously my dad is a geographer.
Right.
And so I went into cartography as a means of rebellion. And when I romanticized it. And when I got into college, I was like, you know what, man? Am I doing this for me?
Yeah.
Or am I drawing this fjord system to get back at my dad?
That's a really good question. See, for me, it was more like they wanted me to have a safe fallback position. So like, just have the cartography.
You can always get a job in cartography.
You'll always have cartography. And I was like, no, I'm an artist. Yes, I can draw beautiful hillsides and mountain passes and roads go through that.
Yeah.
But I don't need to put the roads in.
No.
I don't need to be a cartographer.
No.
I just want to draw vistas. I'm an artist. They didn't get it. They didn't understand.
Man, cartography tears so many families apart.
It's true. It's true.
That's like, I'm amazed that these kids would even participate in this study.
Well,
with how much cartography is just responsible for like emotional scarring.
Right.
Between cartography and Snapchat, I don't know if we're going to make it.
I'm worried about the youth of today, frankly.
But this is kind of fascinating to me because it really does show, if this theory is correct, it really does show, like, we tend to think of our brain as a holistic system.
Mm-hmm.
And like the more we look into it, the more we're just like, dude, space brain, time brain. Why aren't you talking to each other? Somebody asked how far and how long it takes. You guys don't want to compare notes at all?
Right.
No.
That's so weird. We need a space-time interpreter is what we need.
That's what we need.
A space-time continuum, some sort of continuum between the two. That would be good to have in your brain.
Where are you going with this?
I wasn't.
Where are you going with this? Very far.
I wasn't.
But it won't take long.
Yeah, exactly.
Stay with me.
I went so far in such a little time.
Here's a fun thing that I want you guys to do if you're listening. If you haven't given up on us already.
If you're not listening, you won't even know we're saying this.
If you're not listening, you won't even know. It won't even bother you. Don't even worry about this.
Right.
But if you are listening, grab somebody and ask each other, grab them appropriately and with consent.
Yes.
And ask, and figuratively.
First that,
then the other two. And ask each other, like, to draw from home to school, from home to work, wherever they go the most. And then, like, check it on Google Maps.
Yeah.
I
don't think I can do that.
I want to do it. I want somebody to do it and like, let us know if this holds true for you. Is this accurate? Does this study make sense? Did you do the same thing?
You know what's interesting? I could clearly write a list of directions to get from my house to here easily because I know the steps.
Yeah.
But to draw it would be
we
very
never have
difficult.
to do that anymore.
And scale would be rough, man. I honestly don't, like, how long am I on the freeway? Nah.
You know what else? You know what wasn't mentioned in this article? I don't want to digress because we're wrapping up, but they didn't talk at all about the advent of pocket GPS and pocket mapping over the last, like, 20 years.
Right.
And I would love to see this. They did this with students. I would love to see a multi-generational one.
Well, I'll tell you, I personally have completely offloaded these processes in the same way that I've offloaded, like, basic math to my calculator.
Yeah.
Where I literally will just pull out my phone and use a calculator to do something that I could easily do in my head. Like, you know, the other day I was calculating something and I had 30 times 6 and I was like, I'm just going to pull out my calculator. I'm not even going to waste the brain energy, which I could easily do in a snap, right? In the same way, I when I first moved to Los Angeles, I had a Thomas guide, and now I will not go anywhere. I use Waze to get to your house every time because I just want to offload those processes. I don't even want to think about.
You don't even go by memory. You go by Waze.
I go by Waze.
So that's what I wanted, because I bet my dad could draw a map to work and it would be pretty accurate, or my mom could do it. And I think it would be.
You could also multiply 6 times 30.
And I wonder if their idea of time would be more accurate too. So that's why I'd like to see this multi-generational. But do this test and let us know how it turns out for you. I'm at @Carboni on Twitter.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
You can also leave the results. Start a thread on the subreddit. It's wehaveconcerns.reddit.com, and let's all compare notes.
Yeah.
Oh, and because we've been forgetting to do hashtags, hashtag this one Snapchat. No one else is using it.